Hello there. This is Margie. We're about to go live in a minute or two. Just waiting for it to be noon. Oh, great. People are showing up. 10 people so far, 42 registered. Thank you guys for your time. Gonna wait till noon to go live. We've got Janice on the questions. If anyone has a question, thank you for joining us today. Gonna wait another minute. Feel free to use the chat window too. So hey, this is Margie Moore. Thank you for joining us today for our Squeeze the Day webinar, How to Make Google Love You, 7 top SEO tips you need to know in 2020. And we are going to deliver this in 20 minutes. A little bit about our agenda today. We're going to talk a little bit about who we are, what is SEO, and 7 top tips you need for now. At the very end, we're going to help you with an action strategy, how to prioritize all of the things we've done today. After that, we'll have a little closing poll. Please put questions in the chat, and it's being recorded, so you can access this later. We'll send it out after the webinar. So who we are Big Orange Marketing. We have 15 years marketing experience each. Send that to message. We've helped dozens of clients win millions in business. We're HubSpot partners, and we're storytellers. Here are some of our core team members here. All right, so what is SEO and why do we care so darned much? Okay, so search engine optimization is the art of ranking high on a search engine in the unpaid section, also known as organic listings, and that is Neil Patel's definition. He is a thought leader in our space. Why we care is today, 87% of shoppers start their purchases with search, and that's up from 71% of last year, and I think this is even a year-old data. So we know that most purchases start with search today. So it's very important to be found when people are looking for what you're selling. There's 2.2 million Google searches every day, and that's just Google. And for people who find you through search and come there organically, or 8.5 times higher chance of conversion than if you were doing an outbound outreach through email or other. All right, so how do you get ranked today? So the SEO algorithms are constantly changing. And then a couple of times a year, Google does these major core updates. The last one, the major core update was, I think, in May. And so a few more things changed. And with those major updates, that's when things are changing. If you learned your SEO knowledge about 2 years ago, everything you know is sort of maybe outdated. So targeting keywords just for the sake of targeting keywords is no longer what works. But keywords are still very important, so we're going to talk about that. To start with, Google, some people say, oh, it's such a mystery, so Google does not share their algorithms and how they do the search rankings, but Google does give us quite a few guides to start with. So one of the things we'll talk about is some of the things in the Google guide. So beneficial purpose is a concept, as well as EAT. So these are 2 concepts to keep in mind as we go through all of our tips today. So beneficial purpose means websites and pages should be created to help users, answer their challenges, find what they need. This is directly from Google. Then their concept of EAT is what they EAT is what they're trying to weigh your website for. So does it show expertise? Are the creators of the content experts? Do they have credentials to back it up? And are those credentials somewhere on that website where they are sharing the content? Is there authoritativeness? Does that mean do you have generally recognized authority? One of the ways Google can see that is links back to your site and things like that. Trustworthiness. Is the content you're creating honest, true, and accurate information, and is it free of mistakes? So a very easy thing for Google to see if you don't have correct is if you have misspellings or if you have grammatical errors. Those are the things that Google is weighing it on. So it is not magic. There's a lot we can do to get ranked for SEO. So here we go, without further ado, into our 7 tips. So juicy tip number 1, you have to be credible. Does your site build credibility? Does it show your authentic team? And does it build a relationship with the people who you are targeting? Does it feel professional? Are you overusing stock images? Could you possibly go do a photo shoot of your team to stop using so much stock images? Are your team members on your website? And does that include bios of those team members with their backgrounds and some of their credentials? That would be a good idea. Is it clear what you are selling? So the caveman is here to tell you the caveman test from StoryBrand. If a caveman looked at your website, could he tell what you're selling? Could he tell how it benefits him, and how does he buy it? So that's the caveman test. It's called the grunt test. And then is your website and your content free of errors? So that's credibility. So a little bit about that authoritativeness. Here's an example from Neil Patel. Every particular piece of content he has on his website, there is often this bio of him to the right, sharing his credentials and the fact that he's been in the Wall Street Journal. So just a great example here of credibility building. All right, juicy tip number 2, write for people. Write for humans, not for search engines. Answer users' questions. So help people find what they're looking for. Use simple language, short sentences. Sentences should not be more than 20 words. Your website should clearly show what you do and how you solve your target audience's challenges and their pain points. You should show that you recognize what their pain points are. Don't use jargon. A good way to get to some good content is ask your sales team about common objections why people don't choose you, or common pain points people have before they come and look for what you are selling. Use a Q&A format. So with voice search today, it's important to have some blog posts and things like that. They're in a Q&A format, like what is a financial advisor? Our financial advisor set up a series of questions all related to a single topic. Q&A style works well. I'm not saying Q&A style on your homepage, but some blog content using Q&A style for voice search is a very good idea. Then also another thing for people is provide conversion paths on every page and every blog post. That gets people to stay on your site longer, and it also gives them a way to interact with you. All right, so juicy tip number 3, get testy. So if you were looking for easy cheat sheets SEO tips where we tell you something like the secret is put Britney Spears on every page, then you'll rank well. This is not the webinar for you. But what we will teach you is some good fundamentals and how to put those into action. So do a user experience test of your website and your content. So when I say user experience test, that sounds daunting. But what we really mean is get someone who doesn't know you to interact with your website and observe them while they're interacting with your website. Ask them questions like, can you find our services? Well, what are our services? What are we selling? Could you find our testimonials? Can you see how to interact with us? Can you see how to book a meeting with us? Can you see how to use the contact us? Questions like that. Can that person who's looking at it understand your language? Or are you using complex words? Then you can use this tool like usertesting.com, and you can run a very affordable test with people who are complete strangers to you, and that's great. You don't want to be asking your mom and your kids to rank your website because they'll be too nice to you. But also in the Google information we mentioned, there are 23 questions, and we'll share those in a blog post next week when we share this video with you. And those are great questions to ask someone observing your website. Another important thing about being testy is audit your own content. Look at your Google Analytics. Is their content with really high bounce rates? That should probably be rewritten to answer users' questions. Or are there blog posts with 0 visits? Those should probably be removed. Here is a snippet of what I'm calling the 23 questions from the Google Webmaster. I'll just point some of them out. Does the article you're reading provide original content or information, original reporting, original research, or original analysis? Does this provide value versus something else you would find on the edge? On the web, and is there quality control done to make sure there are no errors? So this is just a sample of those questions, and we'll share those later. But it's a lot of food for thought when you're creating content, when you're building a website, when you're trying to get ranked for search. So juicy tip number 4, chip away. So create an SEO strategy, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. So and then chip away at optimizing your core pages at a rate of 3 to 4 a week. Why not? So start with keyword research. So use a tool like Keyword Planner, which is in your Google Ads. You can get to it there. Research your top terms and download and build a list. Also, you can research your competitors there. Some of your larger competitors will have already done a lot of keyword work, and you can copy what they've already done because you can see it. Build that keyword list, and then identify which of your core pages, like your services pages, should win for each of those keywords you came up with. And then, list out your core pages and chip away at 3 pages this week. Always be sure to not use the exact same keyword on more than one page. And then another big tip is use freebies like Yoast, the plugin on WordPress, to guide you on SEO updates. And I'll show you why you need to use Yoast, because it's free. But also, every piece of content, when you load the plugin, every piece of content you're looking at, Yoast is giving you a cheat sheet of what you need to do. So this example is saying, this focus keyword isn't in the title. The meta description hasn't been filled in, or you never want a duplicate meta description either. You haven't used your focus keyword in subheadings. So here's a guide. It's free. It's available. Use it and follow it, and it will help you learn SEO and get it all right.
Margie,
So, yes.
We had a question. Why should we avoid using the same keyword?
So it comes to, this changed about a couple of years ago, cornerstone content. So you have your core pages should be certain words like cybersecurity, disaster recovery, and then you don't want to confuse Google and make a blog post that's plain old cybersecurity, because then Google's like, I don't know which one's the core page. So your core pages want to use your highest level words, and then you want to use your longer tail words in a blog post, like cybersecurity for small business. And that cybersecurity for small business should link back up to your core one. So you never want more than one thing to have the same term. Does that make sense? Janice? Okay.
Yes. Yep, that's great.
Good. Okay, so thank you for chiming in with that. So juicy tip number 5, content, a content strategy. Here is also how you rank well with Google. Google likes to see fresh content all the time, and Google likes to see you have more pages with your keywords on them all the time. So a content strategy matters. So create a targeted content plan to get at those longer tail keywords, and that's a longer tail there on the left. And you need to publish consistently. If it's once a week, that's great. Whatever you can consistently do. If it's once a month, great. Just do it consistently. So the way to do this is start by listing your target audience. Who are you trying to target? And think about them. What are their pain points and what are their goals? And then think about one of them and say, what questions does this person have? What can you share, or what can your team share that they know that answers that target's questions? So brainstorm 5 to 10 topics against each target. Then match that up with that keyword list you made, and strategically create a content plan to go after those keywords. Another important point we talked about, we need to be authoritative, and is you have thought leaders in your company. Interview those thought leaders and create useful content that's share-worthy, because they'll have unique insights, they'll have great stories. So here's a visual from SWAT Systems out in Seattle. Here's them using the author feature really well. This was Dan. This is Dan. He created this piece that we were on, and it says his number of years in the industry. It says his title, which is a system engineer. So great example here of building that authoritativeness. All right, juicy tip number 6, speed matters. Speed matters more than ever. So remove anything that is slowing down your website. You can run some free reports. I like Google Google Page Speed Insights. That's exactly how you find it. Google Page Speed Insights, search that. And that will give you a list of what you need to do in order to speed up your website. Compress those larger images and reload them. You only want to load an image as large as you need it. Never load it larger than you need it. And then also leverage browser caching. And then there's a lot more things you can do for speed. That's probably a webinar all to itself. So all right, we'll go on to juicy tip number 7, give link juice. So links, as we mentioned, matter, and links continue to matter more and more. So you want inbound links from credible sources. But where you start is you're going to link out. So link out to good content and then request links back to your content. So linking out to those credible sources, boost your content. Do it in moderation, though. A pillar post is an idea that will do really well for you, and that's that question and answer format I talked about. Put several links to credible sources, everything you need to know about cybersecurity in a long form post. That's a pillar content. That's a very good for links out, and then that gets you links back. A neat way to obtain inbound links is through guest posts on other blogs, again in moderation, and never put duplicate content here on your website and do the exact same thing on another website. You want to change up that sentence structure and never be exactly the same content. Another big idea, something we like to do, is a pro spotlight, where you're profiling people in your industry, if it makes sense. And you want to stay in your industry. You don't want to be profiling something unrelated to what you do. Or could you do a customer series, interview your customers or companies you partner with, go through a series of, spotlight on our customers. All right, so here's a visual of a pro spotlight series we created for Hensley Custom Building Group. And in their industry, when you build a custom home, retractable screens, custom kitchens, tiles and flooring. So it makes sense because it's links in and out from within their industry. And you can see that, for example, got a lot of great shares because you're leveraging their social media as well as your social media. So it's really win-win. All right, so juicy tip number 8 out of 7. So this is your bonus tip. So here's a bunch of nuts and bolts, some things that are really basic that you can take care of. Boom, 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 boom. So set up Google Search Console. Be sure to do that. Make sure you set up your Google Analytics. Submit your sitemap to Google. Remove all duplicate content. Make sure your photos use keywords for the page that you're for the keywords for the page you're trying to optimize. Like your page you're trying to optimize for cybersecurity for small businesses. Make sure that image on that page has cybersecurity for small businesses in it somehow. And then use hyphens between the words. Your meta description should be populated for every page, and it should be unique. Never have the same meta description on more than one page. Write readable URLs. So the word green dress, if you're doing a page for green dress, don't just put green dress together. Google can't read that, but green hyphen dress in the URL, or green dress for sales Cincinnati, that's a readable URL. So that's good. Make them readable. Don't put numbers and crazy stuff in there, just words and separated by hyphens. And then use, very important, off-site SEO. We were talking a lot about on-site, on-page SEO. Manage your Google reviews to increase and try to get more Google reviews regularly. Try things like links in your signature line. Put a link to it on your testimonial page. Put a link to your Google review on your testimonial page. That's a good strategy. Try something like postcards. I'll show you a great example. Seiler's Landscaping here in Cincinnati, they are doing a competition. So they created a postcard, and the person who gets the most mentions is going to win a watch, or maybe it's sunglasses, I'm not sure. But they're competing with each other, and they tell the customers, hey, if you mention me, I get a point. And it's working really well. They're having a lot of fun with it. So there's just two reviews popped up in the last 3 days. So this is going really well. Here's a visual of how you want to put a link to your Google review on your page so you can always find it, and so your customers can find it. So, all right. So we mentioned a lot of content stuff, a little bit of structure and technical stuff. Paula on our team always mentions that there's 3 parts to search engine optimization and Google rankings. There's the content, there's the structure, and there's the technical. So if you feel like you're hitting a lot of these content, keyword, core page stuff well, speed is good, and you're still not ranking, it may be time for an SEO audit to figure out if something else is going wrong. Perhaps there's a technical issue. So just want to point that out. So thank you for staying with me. Here is our action plan. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back through all the ideas, and I'd like you to get out a piece of paper and just jot some things that you might want to do. So when we were talking about tip number 1, be credible, could you review your website with some fresh eyes? Is it professional? Is it mobile friendly? We hardly mention mobile friendly because I do feel it's table stakes now. You know your website is not mobile friendly if you go to it on your phone and you have to pinch to get out. So that's pretty easy to know. So that's easy to check. Action strategy for item number 2, right for humans. Review your homepage again. Does it use jargon? Could you get rid of that today? Is it written with a beneficial purpose to help solve your users' challenges? Test your UX. Just jot it down right now. Is there someone in a professional group you belong to? Like we have a group like the Gehring Center here, which are peers. Maybe you could ask someone there to look at your website with you and you could observe them. Chip away at your keywords. Here's how you get to the keyword planner. Visit Google Ads, click on the upper right. It's a little wrench, and then you can drop down and find the keyword planner. It's very fun to use. It's very easy. You can't break it. Just have fun and learn about your keywords. Tip number 5 on action plan would be sit down right now and brainstorm 3 ideas for each of your 3 target personas. What could you answer? Like, could you give, 5 questions to ask a financial advisor or something like that? All right, tip number 6, speed matters. Speed matters. Go look up Google Page Speed Insights. You'll get there. You can put your website in and you will instantly get a report of what to do. All right, so that's part of your action strategy. I have 2 more. Let's get that cat going. Oh no, is my GIF not working? It appears my GIF's not working. All right, I'll email that after. So the strategy of give link juice. Is there a pro spotlight series you could do in your area? So think about that. Or is there a customer interview series you could start? Some nuts and bolts tip. Is there a way you could add a Google review process into your current processes? Is there something you could do like at a certain point, like when you invoice someone or when your client services team does that final check-in? Could they send a Google review or ask at the end of that conversation? So if you're not sure what to do next, we can help you assess these ideas. So the action strategy for today. You might have just been jotting a few things. It's probably too much to do. Choose one and circle one. And that would be an action strategy tactic you could get at this week. Okay, we're going to keep on going. All right, so we are to our poll. So, in line with what Google teaches us, we're going to actually do some research here. So here's your poll, and this is how we're going to give away the gift card today. So tell us, when you think about SEO and Google rankings, is your problem, if you have a problem, is your challenge strategy? Do you not have a clear SEO strategy? If that's your case, put a 1 in there. Is your challenge content? Do you really not have a clear content plan that chips away at your keywords, or you just don't have the ability to consistently post? Do you feel like maybe your problems are speed or technical issues? Or maybe your website's too old and it wasn't built for speed. Maybe it's something like that. Or do you feel like your challenge, something that might be holding you back is your messaging? Does your website clearly show who you are authentically, what you do, how you help your users, and how to work with you? Or if you're just here for the cat memes and the cat memes didn't work, you can put 5 in. So put a number in chat. We'll have your name, and then we'll put that out in a randomizer, and we'll select the winner, and we will email the winner. All right, and we are also going to set a blog post after to share all that. So here's my sales part here. If you work with us, Big Orange Marketing, you get a team of experts. We are writers, we are very technical experts, and we're also marketing experts, and we work very hard to keep our skills top notch. You get small firm attention, complete management of your projects. We do like to take marketing off of your plate. When you work with us, you get seasoned pros. Some firms you get sold in by the A team, but then junior people deliver, but we are all pros here. We're affordable. We're in the Midwest. We keep our prices affordable, and we deliver what others promise. All right, so are there any questions? Oh, I see a lot of 1s. Thank you guys for answering the quiz, and thank you guys for attending. Oh, hey, Monica. Margie, thank you for the compliment. Margie, yes, Jen?
Could you go back to your survey slide so people could see that again?
Sure.
And then Anne is wondering if there are any keywords that are just dead, she says. Or overused.
That overused. It really depends on your industry. The keyword planner would show you what's working in your industry and what are the current prices that people who are using paid search are paying to win on those keywords. Keyword planner would probably have those answers for you. Any other questions, Janice?
Not right now.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you guys for attending today. This was a lot of fun. I hope this was helpful to your marketing strategy. And also in your chat, if you want to put anything about what you'd like us to cover next, we still have ideas from last time of things to cover next. Thank you guys for attending. Hi, Anne. Oh, hey, Karen. Hey, Dina. Very nice. Thank you, guys.